Have you ever wondered why, after 50, your erections don't feel as strong or as reliable as they used to? You might even worry that if you don't use it, you'll eventually lose it. The truth is, it's not just about how often you have sex, it's about what's really happening inside your body. And today I'm going to break it down for you in a way that could completely change how you think about aging and sexual health. By the end of this video, you'll know the real reasons erections fade with age, what warning signs you should never ignore, and most importantly, how to protect and even restore your function naturally. I'm Dr. Nora Blake, a urologist who spent years helping men navigate these exact challenges, and I want to give you clear, practical steps you can start using right away. Before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me your age or just the decade you were born in and where you're watching from. It really helps me understand who's listening and what stage of life you're in. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss the kind of content designed to help you stay healthier, stronger, and more confident as the years go by. Let me ask you something that might strike at the very core of your fears. Does your penis really weaken and shrink just because you're not using it enough? Many men over 50 carry this worry quietly, almost like a shadow. They've heard the phrase use it or lose it so often that it feels like an undeniable truth. But when we look closely at the science, the story is far more nuanced. The idea that simply having less sex will cause your erection to vanish doesn't hold up under careful scrutiny. Much of the research that claims frequent sexual activity preserves erectile function is actually built on observation, not cause and effect. In other words, the men who are still active sexually are often the ones who already have better health to begin with, stronger erections to start with, and fewer underlying problems. It's a case of healthier men being able to stay active rather than activity itself being the only reason they remain healthy. That's where the myth starts to crumble. The truth is, a lack of sexual opportunity on its own isn't what robs you of your erections. Something else much more fascinating and deeply biological is at play. And this is where the story takes a surprising turn. Your body has its own way of protecting this function even while you're asleep through a built-in mechanism that most men take for granted. The key lies in the mysterious but vital world of nighttime erections. Every night, whether you're aware of it or not, your body is doing something extraordinary. On average, men experience 3 to 5 erections during sleep, a kind of automatic maintenance system. These aren't random quirks. They're your body's way of flushing oxygen-rich blood into the erectile tissue, keeping it supple, elastic, and ready for action. Think of it as nature's tune-up happening while you rest. And there's a simple way to know if this process is working well: morning wood. Waking up with an erection isn't just an amusing detail of male biology. It's one of the most reliable indicators of healthy blood flow. But here's where things get serious. When those morning erections start to fade or disappear, it's not just about aging. It's often the earliest red flag that circulation to the penis is compromised. Without regular nocturnal erections, the tissue begins to change. Over time, tiny scars form, the elasticity drops, and the penis may even shrink in girth or length because the tissue can no longer expand as it once did. That's when the dreaded use it or lose it becomes real, not because you had fewer encounters with your partner, but because your body has stopped its nightly repair work. And here lies the turning point: spotting those early changes and acting on them can make all the difference. If you notice your morning erections fading, it's not something to ignore or feel embarrassed about. It's a signal, a call to investigate and intervene before the changes become permanent. Which naturally leads us to another question many men ask: does how often you ejaculate play a role in protecting your prostate and your sexual health? Now let me share a number that often shocks my patients. A large Harvard study found that men who ejaculated 21 times or more a month had a lower risk of prostate cancer compared to those who only did so 4 to 7 times. It's the kind of statistic that grabs attention, and for good reason. But let's put it into perspective. This doesn't mean that if you don't hit that number, your prostate is doomed. The study showed correlation, not causation. Men who ejaculated more frequently might also be the ones leading healthier lives overall, with better diets, more exercise, and stronger circulation. Those factors themselves could be the real drivers of reduced cancer risk. Still, the idea that ejaculation might play a role in keeping the prostate healthier is fascinating. Think of it as another piece of the puzzle, a potential benefit beyond pleasure alone. And for many men, this knowledge provides a sense of reassurance that their sexual function serves more than one purpose. It might even contribute to long-term health. But the deeper story is that frequent ejaculation might not be the magic bullet itself. It could simply be a marker that the man is already in good physical shape with better hormone balance and stronger blood flow. Which brings us to the heart of the matter, the powerful interplay between testosterone desire and the muscles that silently shape your erections. Here's a truth that surprises many men: testosterone and sexual activity feed into each other in both directions. On one hand, testosterone fuels your libido. It sparks the desire that makes you want sex. On the other, engaging in sex itself helps signal your body to maintain testosterone levels, creating a reinforcing loop. And during orgasm, something else remarkable happens. Your pelvic floor muscles contract rhythmically, and those contractions aren't just about release. They're a workout that keeps the muscles supporting erections, bladder control, and even bowel function strong. That's why ignoring this connection can be so costly. Weak pelvic floor muscles can mean weaker erections, difficulty holding urine, and less control overall. Yet most men have been misled to think they need to exercise their penis directly, chasing gadgets or odd routines. The reality is much simpler and more empowering. What you truly need to train is your body, your blood vessels, and those crucial pelvic floor muscles. It's not about tricks or gimmicks, it's about honoring the deep physiology that sustains sexual health. And as we dig deeper, we'll find that the foundation for all of this doesn't lie in isolated habits, but in the health of your vascular system as a whole, which supports every part of your sexual function. I've met men in their 80s and even 90s who still have solid erections. And when I ask them what their secret is, they smile and say there isn't one. They didn't rely on miracle pills or hidden techniques. They simply kept their hearts and blood vessels healthy across a lifetime. And that's the real foundation. Erections are at their core a vascular event. Blood has to flow freely, fill the erectile tissue, and stay there. When cholesterol clogs arteries, when high blood pressure stiffens vessel walls, or when diabetes damages the lining, that flow is compromised and erections falter. These three culprits, cholesterol, hypertension, diabetes, are the major risk factors I see over and over again in men who lose their erections prematurely. And the truth is, no device, no supplement, and no short-term trick can fix the damage once those vessels are too far gone. That's why lifestyle choices matter more than any gadget. A balanced diet that protects your vessels, regular exercise that keeps circulation pumping, sleep that restores hormonal balance, and stress management that prevents constant strain on the cardiovascular system, all of these protect the blood supply your penis depends on. Pills or pumps may provide temporary assistance, but their support acts, not headliners. If the stage your vascular health is crumbling, no performance can take place. That's why I tell my patients, don't chase gimmicks. Build the strongest foundation you can, because erections are simply a reflection of how healthy your blood vessels really are. And this is the point where many men lean forward, but I always remind them that this story isn't just about men. Women's bodies are built on remarkably similar principles, and the same idea of use it or lose it takes on its own meaning in female sexual health. One fact that surprises many is that the clitoris is made of the same erectile tissue as the penis. Just like men, women experience nocturnal engorgement 3 to 5 times a night, where blood flows into that tissue to keep it healthy. When sexual activity is regular, women enjoy more elasticity, better lubrication, and stronger blood flow to the vagina. That combination protects against the thinning and dryness that so often appear with age. But what happens when discomfort sets in, pain, dryness, or burning? That's when many women pull back from intimacy, not because desire's gone, but because the experience has become uncomfortable. The good news is that these problems are highly treatable. Vaginal estrogen used locally can restore thickness and elasticity with minimal systemic absorption. It's safe, effective, and often life-changing. Add lubricants and moisturizers to reduce friction, and suddenly intimacy feels possible again. For women, vibrators can also play a therapeutic role. By bringing blood to the area externally, they can help improve sensitivity and circulation in ways that echo the natural benefits of arousal. And then there's the pelvic floor. After childbirth, many women notice weakness leaking when they laugh or cough, urgency that disrupts daily life. Here again, sex itself can be a workout, engaging the pelvic floor in contractions that reinforce strength. In fact, research has compared the effects of Kegel exercises to orgasms, showing both can help strengthen those crucial muscles. The fear many women have that estrogen creams are unsafe is one of the biggest barriers to relief. But the reality is clear: absorption into the whole body is extremely low, and the benefits far outweigh the risks. This is why I always stress use it or lose it for women isn't about pressure to have sex. It's about recognizing that regular stimulation, whether with a partner alone or through medical support, keeps tissues alive and functional. And when we look at both men and women side by side, the bigger picture emerges: a shared story of vascular health, intimacy, and connection. So let me bring it all together with a conclusion that may put your mind at ease. Having less sex does not make you lose your function. What does? Losing those nightly erections or those nocturnal episodes of clitoral engorgement because your blood vessels are no longer healthy enough to support them. That's the real turning point, the real use it or lose it. When circulation fails, tissue begins to scar and shrink, and function diminishes. That's why the ultimate solution is not about pushing yourself into unwanted sex. It's about protecting your vascular health and addressing the conditions that undermine it. And when you do, the benefits ripple far beyond the bedroom. Science shows that regular intimacy, when it's enjoyable, is linked to better brain health, longer life, and perhaps most importantly, deeper human connection. Because here's another truth: loneliness is deadly. People without meaningful connection live shorter, less vibrant lives. Sexual intimacy, whether gentle or passionate, is one of the purest forms of connection we can share. But it should never feel like an obligation. The key is to recognize that pleasure is not frivolous. It's part of sustaining your body and your spirit. So the myth that you must force yourself to use it or you'll lose it misses the mark. What you must do is live in a way that keeps your blood vessels young, your body active, and your spirit engaged. That is what protects erections, orgasms, and vitality. For men over 50, this is the roadmap: stop worrying about arbitrary numbers or false promises and start building a life that supports natural erections for years to come. And in our next steps, I'll show you exactly how to shape that plan so that what you once thought was slipping away can in fact remain yours to enjoy fully and freely.